A tour guide stunned a busload of tourists when she launched into a racist tirade about San Francisco's Chinatown on her last day on the job. All right, quick, right here. Racist or anti-multicultural? After reading the article, which I'm going to read right now, I would say she's anti-multicultural. She's telling them to blend their culture in with the rest of the United States. That doesn't sound like she's racist, okay? Racist is used like a condiment or something. It's just like, you know, ketchup or hot sauce. It's just thrown over everything, whether it has any reason to be on it or not, in Western societies. So they're calling her racist. She sounds anti-multicultural. Real quick, links are below to the article from the Daily Mail, which I like the Daily Mail a lot. Find it very entertaining. And also the video. I would strongly suggest watching the video. It's not even 2 minutes long. Very, very entertaining. All right, continuing on. Holding a bottle of what appears to be alcohol in one hand, told you it was entertaining, the woman was filmed as she told tourists exactly what she thought of the vibrant area in an expletive-laden speech. The guide even warned potential residents against moving to Chinatown, despite it being the cheapest neighborhood in the city. F your preschool and your little preschoolers making all that noise at 6 a.m. when I was trying to live here. She yelled into the microphone at the top of the open roof bus. F your noise, F your parades, F your dragons, F this, and F Chinatown. F your herb garden, seafood markets. When you, it almost sounds like a song. When you come to America, you've got to assimilate a little bit. And in America, we don't eat turtles and frogs. This is anti-multiculturalism, like I say. But everybody just, all I know is the word racism. We smear that all over. There's a limit. F your laundry hanging out your windows. F your hair salons where no one knows how to speak English, right? She claimed that when she lived in the area, it was unbearably busy with too many people crowded into a small place, okay? We have a Chinatown, and this is interesting. She says, we have a Chinatown in my hometown of L.A. It is much cleaner and better restaurants. But she's like, this in San Francisco, this Chinatown is a horrible place to live. Although this is the cheapest neighborhood, do not live here. There's too many of them out here. There's too many people. See, everybody goes into the racism. It's overcrowded, okay? And this is a different culture, okay? In the video posted to YouTube by German tourists, the guide got the occasional laugh from the group and even managed to pull a chorus of F Chinatown as the bus headed into the tunnel. When you hear her speak, she's really well spoken. Okay, you can see how she got it. When you look at the pictures, you're like, oh, you know, what's going on? She's drinking and all this from the article that I have linked below, and she looks like she's going crazy. But when you actually watch the video is well worth watching. I think I mentioned that before. It is not certain what company the guide worked for, but according to the Post, it was her last day. Well, one way or the other, it's going to be her last day, right? The footage provoked mixed responses from people on YouTube, with many criticizing her for xenophobic comments. Now, if you look up the word xenophobe, what you're going to find many times is Chinese people, okay? In China, xenophobic of the rest of the world. So that's an interesting term. Okay, I'm not against Chinese or anything like that. I'm just telling you. Kathleen said, she says tons of racist things, tells Chinese people to assimilate, and then says, I'm not racist, okay, right? Sadly, this lady, once again, needs to be corrected. Chinatown is not the cheapest neighborhood to live in. It's actually quite expensive if you can even find a place to rent or lease. There are plenty of cheaper neighborhoods in San Francisco. Okay, all the things she mentioned, herb shops, frogs, not speaking English, etc., is part of Chinese culture. Makes Chinatown, it's not called America Town, right? Okay. See, this is, I just want to stop here and say, look, what is expected of people in the United States, or even immigrants? What's expected? Does an immigrant have to learn the language? Is there are there certain parts of the culture that they have to bring into their own? in the United States? I think it's all up in the air. I think the second anybody would suggest any immigrants, when they came in, they went through Ellis Island. Okay, there was a time when that happened. People are always around the world. You know, if you move somewhere, you learn the language, and there's a portion of the culture and everything. But right now, there's nothing really, I mean, expected, in my opinion. So, you know, when anybody says, hey, I think there's certain things, you know, there's certain things that lead to success. A little mini rant right here. Okay, learning, like I say, learning the language, high education, learning enough about the culture to be able to navigate through it and all that kind of stuff, and not being segregated or self-segregating into small communities where you're isolated. Just my opinion. But if you say that, then people say racist. But then again, you can't go back. Like in Canada, certain things are expected of people because that's a society that said we want immigrants and we're going to do things to bring them in. But you need, you know, we've got this Scottish Anglicized / French cultures that you need to have some respect for, and we have, you know, there's certain ways of doing democracy and this and that which we culturally have here that you need to accept, or you're going to have problems. So I mean, Canada seem to be very left, but at least they tend to have some rules and some pressures on people that come in, where we're just whatever, you know, and then just people are calling each other racist if they have any expectations of people that come in. So I mean, to me, it's an open discussion. But once you marry that to the idea of what it takes to be successful in a culture, which is what you hope people that come in are, and productive, then it kind of narrows it down. Learn the language is one of them. All right, Emily Stewart said, well, if it wasn't her last day at work, I'm sure it is now. It's a shame the city of such diversity that she has to point out differences in each other in such a negative light. She went a lot further than that. She just F them. I mean, come on. San Francisco's Chinatown is the oldest in North America, created by an influx of Chinese railroad workers and gold prospectors in the 1800s. Okay, so I mean, this goes back to what another thing that happens consistently in this country, okay, and around the world, human beings doing this, is exploiting people. Okay, the Chinese were brought in, okay, to build one half of the railroad, right, the west going to the east, and then once they weren't used by the railroad anymore, they went and the populace turned against them, okay, and wanted them out because they were different, and now the companies didn't want to defend them because they're done with them. Okay, slavery. Okay, people, when companies, okay, they're not really companies, but when any business interest, anything economic interest is going to try to get the highest profits, and if they could dehumanize people and crush them down and make them slaves, they will. And once they're done with them, they want them out. So you're seeing that the economic, see, I don't want to talk about the economic cost of this, okay? And then that you bring in people to undercut the people that are already there, and they're usually not too happy about that. And then, like I said, the companies, they cut them loose afterwards. See, there's an economic thing here. It isn't just, they always go for the thing, well, people are poor to commit crimes. It's like, no, wait, look at what the economic interest did to create this situation, exploiting people. Okay, and let's see. Ethnic Chinese make up the largest minority group in the city, accounting for a little over 20% of the population, according to the 2010 census data. All right, and that's going to be it. And movie. And then there's a few comments, but I'll go ahead and leave them alone. There's not too many. All right, that's Steve's Outrageous News. It's, like I say, highly, highly, highly entertaining video. Strongly suggest taking a look at that, and this was definitely outrageous. Until next time, take care.